Hi, I'm Lenka and you're watching the Permanent Rain Press.
I'm just a little bit caught in the middle. Life is a maze and love is a riddle.
It's the Permanent Rain Press, and today I'm here with singer-songwriter Lenka. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great, thanks for asking. So your third album, Shadows, was just released. Compared to your other albums, this one has more of a mellower folk vibe. Why the slight shift in concept?
It's just something that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to make kind of a lullaby album, you know, that the kind of album that you can fall asleep to, just because I love that. Like those kinds of albums in my collection, I think are really beautiful. You know, when I can put on something like Sigur Rós or Iron and Wine, and I know that if I fall asleep, it's not going to wake me up. I just wanted to make one of those albums one day in my life, and I decided that now was the right time because I just had a baby, so I kind of needed lullabies.
Yeah, so I guess it's nice to finally have that record that you wanted under your belt.
Yeah, exactly.
So the album was released through your own label, Skip Along Records. Were you always interested in putting out a release independently?
Not hugely. I never really set out to make a record label, actually. It's just that I became independent right around when I had the baby. I took a break and I wasn't signed anymore. And then I just made a record off my own dime. You know, I just went ahead and did it. Not thinking, oh, I'm a record label now. But then when it came time to actually put out the album, my managers were like, well, you need to be a label to do that, you know. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll make a label then. You know, it's just kind of a random thing. But now that I have a label and it has a name and, you know, it's like a thing, the idea is planted to maybe in the future make it something different and sign other artists, or, you know, I could do something different with it, maybe. We'll see.
Skip Along sounds like a very carefree, childlike. Was that inspired by?
Yeah, well, I have a song called Skip Along on my first album, and I guess I just wanted to use that word because it reminds me to keep that sort of childlike, whimsical thing that I hold very dear, and like my inner child is very strong, and I always want to keep it that way because I feel like in life we tend to lose that sense of wonderment and optimism too easily, so I really try to keep it up front and remind myself every day. So naming the record company that is just a little reminder to, you know, stay fresh.
So speaking of your son, how difficult is it to be away from him and the rest of your family when you're on tour?
It's hard. I'm trying to do like little bits at a time. I'm trying to only be away from him for a few days at a time. So my tour is kind of broken up into little sections. But it's also hard to have him with me. Like, having a baby on the road is not cool. You know, it's really not the right place for him to be.
Yeah, I'm sure you know he's probably crying, and you have to fuss over him and be like, I have to sing.
Yeah, I wanna do what's right for him, and if I'm busy doing my work, then I can't pay him attention, and he has to take 2 naps a day, and he goes to bed at 7:30 p.m. So it's not very rock and roll, but he's so cute. I mean, I just want to be with him really, but Mama's got to go to work.
Not, I guess, a typical
Not a typical work, no.
Yeah. So you were born and raised in Australia. Based on experience, what is the biggest misconception that people seem to have about the country or continent?
I suppose that people think that Australia's got kangaroos and koalas hopping around everywhere, and, you know, that we all live in the outback, but of course it's not like that. I mean, I've barely even been to the outback. I was born in the bush. I lived in the bush when I was a little kid, but that's just like living in the countryside. Sydney is, you know, it's kind of similar to Vancouver, actually. It's a similar kind of city, similarly expensive. Like Vancouver and Sydney are both really expensive real estate cities, but because, you know, you get a lot for it, it's really a nice place to live. It's very green, and yeah, but I guess everybody thinks that we're like the crocodile hunter or something like that, but it's still pretty urban.
Setting the record straight, I guess.
That's right. We have cities.
So, have you ever been to Vancouver before?
Yeah, I have. I've played here a couple of times. I've actually played at this venue, the Media Club, once before. It was a really good show, I remember, so I'm excited about tonight. Yeah, I think I've been here twice.
Yeah, hopefully one day you'll get to have a longer stay, maybe bring your family along with you.
Yeah, I hope so, because I never get to actually explore. Like, I never get a whole day. So that would be good. I would like to bring Quinn here.
So, your songs, all of your music has been used in movies, television shows, commercials. Is there one series in particular that you would love to have your music featured on?
I don't know, but I am starting to do a little bit more tailor-made music for shows. I just actually wrote a song for a new JJ Abrams show that's coming out next year. It's called Believe. Yeah, it's going to be a really cool kind of like mystical drama. So that's really interesting to me, like when I actually talk to the director and the writer and I get the themes that the show's about and I have to actually write a song specifically for something. I'm really enjoying that. So I'd like to do more of that actually in the future. I see myself kind of doing a bit more like soundtrack work.
Hopefully get a few theme songs in there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know yet. My song might be the theme song to this show. We'll see.
Okay, we'd like to end things off with our signature question. If you could be any ice cream flavor, which would you be and why?
I would be choc mint because I love it. It's fresh and also decadent at the same time.
Is that like mint chocolate chip?
Mint choc chip, yeah. Yeah, mint choc chip, choc mint. The green one with the brown spots.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sounds delicious. So thank you so much for doing this interview with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Lenka's third album, Shadows, is out now. Make sure you pick up a copy in stores, on iTunes. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks. Bye.
Light